Hello and welcome. In a thrilling contest at the Hyderabad Sunrisers managed 156 for 9 in 20 overs, but Lucknow Super Giants chased it down with authority, reaching 160 for 5 in 19.5 overs. Hello and welcome. I'm Sunil Yash Kalra, and today we are talking about Cricketer, the Cricket IPL Daily Show on Newsx. Yes. We've got three of the eminent guests and we're going to be introducing you to them in a while, but let's look at what happened. Well, we're talking about the game with LSG, but again, they won with 5 wickets, just 1 ball to spare. LSG won the toss, elected to field, and it proved out to be the right call for Mohammad Shami, who delivered a masterclass. Of course, Shami seemed like one of the match winners from the bygone era who's still creating magic. Of course, he delivered a match-winning, defining spell of 2 for 9 in 4 overs. That destroyed SRH's top order. Rishabh Pant then played a captain's knock with unbeaten 68 of 50. Then combination with Aiden Makram with 45 and useful cameos from the Ayush Badonis and the Samads of the world to guide LSG home in style, finishing the chase with a winning for Jaidev Unadkat in all the final overs. SRH's innings saw some strong recovery through the run, 116 run, 5 wicket stand between Klassen and Nitish Kumar Reddy, but they still feel they were a little short with a sluggish 7.8. In today's terms, 7.8 runs seems to be a little problematic thing, and that's what they got into. But again, Shami earning the Player of the Match award for this clinical bowling, and that set up LSG's first victory of the season in a nail-biting finish. Joining me are three of the eminent guests. We've got David Brooks, who joins us from Oxfordshire. Of course, for the ones who don't know David, he's been the former cricket head in UK for a famous television channel, but more importantly, he stays in Oxfordshire and he plays for the 6th division, and perhaps he captains them in a way. David Brooks, welcome to the show. Let me just ask you, what is your assessment of the first 10 days of IPL? And welcome to the show again.
Well, thank you, Sunil. It's a pleasure to be here. I think, well, the quality's been good. I mean, the batting has dominated the ball so far, and certainly there seems to be an advantage for the teams that are chasing. The game yesterday that you just talked about with CSK losing out was one of the few which hasn't gone the right way. But sorry, Sunrisers losing out, I should say. But I think the quality's been good.
Right.
The scores have been very high, so possibly needs to the bowlers could have a little bit more assistance from the pitch. That would be good, just to even things out a bit. But it's certainly been a run fest, and I'm sure that's what people want to see.
Well, absolutely, run fest. Isn't what run fest was the word that hundreds was sold upon? 100 run fest.
Well, it certainly was. Yeah. Well, the jury's still out on that one. It's going to get better now that it's got Indian ownership. The other thing I'd like to say, Sunil, is that the cream rising to the top in that some of the star performers like Shami have shown their class, and we've seen some quality performances from some of the very top players, as one would expect. I've got my eye on the English players, of course, in the tournament.
Yes.
And we saw that Liam Livingstone is slow to get going at the moment. Joss Butler is just beginning to get starts to show that he might be turning his season around. But so I've got my eye on them too. But there was certainly no relief. Jamie Overton got smacked around yesterday.
Yes.
So it's going to be a tough tournament for the English.
What about Jofra Archer? Sorry, but I'm just stretching my question. What about Jofra Archer, your local boy?
Well, I think Jofra's shown some encouraging signs, hasn't he? He was a bit expensive in his last game, but he seems to be getting a good rhythm together, and he's happy in his work. And I'm sure we haven't seen the best of Jofra yet. I think his time will come in this tournament.
Well, absolutely. Toss Rizvi. Toss Rishabh Pant had anchored the team yesterday. But what about Shami and Rishabh? Do you think they were absolutely class apart?
Definitely Mohammad Shami. I mean, we have been watching him, whether you talk about first class cricket and then now T20 cricket. And he's trying to prove himself every now and then. And yesterday also, it was no different. The way he bowled, getting out those two openers, Abhishek Sharma and Travis Head. and giving away minimal runs shows that this guy still has that hunger to play for India. I mean, at the end, for a guy like Shami who's been wanting desperately for a long time, but he's not getting his opportunities, and but he continues to show his skills one after another, whether it's the long format or whether it's T20 or talk about the 50 over Vijay Hazare Trophy. He's been quite impressive, and it was nothing new yesterday. Shows that this guy might be getting old, just like Jamie Anderson. That but hunger continues to be there. David Brooke will agree with me. Shami reminds me of that guy. Very hungry, and the way he bowled yesterday, of course, it was very heartening to see. He's done it in the past. He continues to do it, and it will be interesting how Ajit Agarkar and company respond to his call, especially Gautam Gambhir. Whether he's interested in having Shami in the scheme of things, that will be something to watch out for. But again, yesterday was a heartening performance from Shami, and surprisingly, finally, Rishabh Pant, the captain, was in the mood yesterday. Yeah, he wasn't aggressive. The strike rates doesn't show, doesn't seem to be impressive. But then that's what the game needed. 160, chasing down 158, kind of a total. You need to be very, very cautious out there. But then he got back after opening the innings. He got back to number three, getting a 60, unbeaten 58 with just boundaries and no sixes, which I think Rishabh Pant is not known for. He's known for hitting sixes in Test cricket, but somewhere or the other he's been found wanting in T20s and ODIs. Yesterday he did a good job finishing the game. I think Mr. Goenka will be very, very happy with yesterday's performance.
Said in absolute jest and a little bit of sarcasm rolled in. That was Toss Risby, the Mumbaikar from the Maidans of cricket. We move on to Erin, the guy from with the mic from Colombo. Erin, welcome to the show. I'm sure you must have watched CSK's match last night. CSK's identity crisis with the 3 consecutive losses and a bowling attack that conceded, 12.5 runs per over. When did we last see that happening in the era of great Mahindra Singh Dhoni? You're a Dhoni fan, you're a CSK fan, that is the closest you could have got. But are you dismayed on that particular collapse of CSK? Not only from the form, the tournament, but also from the legacy.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about CSK, they have struggled throughout the tournament from the start. 3 games, 3 losses. They still have time, though it's the early stage of the tournament. But still, as I did mention the other day as well, probably they're still lacking that experience and support from Mahendra Singh Dhoni and his tactics from behind the stumps. That's number one. The second thing is the collapse in the top order, especially they have kept their faith a lot on Sanju Samson and Ruturaj Gaikwad as a skipper. But unfortunately, the top order hasn't delivered throughout the tournament. So that's one of the areas they might need to rework on. It's going to be a challenge because just after three games, you cannot just take Sanju Samson out of the game. That's a tough call, but they need to reassess. They need to rethink of what they could do top of the order because they have failed throughout the tournament. And then when it comes to the bowling, well, it was expected, to be very honest, because looking at their bowling lineup, very little experience. And no big names. Unfortunately, once again, that impact of Ravindra Jadeja not being in CSK, I believe that has made a huge impact, especially the 4 overs of Ravindra Jadeja. Yes. It has been key throughout the IPL and in the middle order, how he comes and guides the team towards the end. So these are some key areas that has really let down Chennai Super Kings, and they will have to work around it. But talking about that, you cannot take anything away from RCB. They were fabulous yesterday. They've shown that they are the champions, carrying out their form from the previous year. So all credits to RCB, but CSK will need to rethink and revisit their strategies.
Absolutely. CSK, I think much more time has been spent on analyzing and eulogizing their losses rather than looking at the performance. Absolutely, the absence makes the heart grow fonder, especially for Ravindra Jadeja. David, your namesake, Tim David, blasted 70 runs of just 25 deliveries, including 8 massive sixes. Is he currently the most feared finisher in IPL, or did CSK's poor execution of misled Yorkers simply made him look good yesterday?
Well, I think they were feeding him a bit, but there's no better striker of the ball than Tim David when he gets going. Is he the most feared? I think we need to see more consistency from him and see another couple of performances like that before, one could give him that label. But certainly in that mood, he's very destructive. And let's face it, he's keeping Jacob Bethel, England's finest young prospect, out of the team at the moment. You'd have to say on that form, he's going to keep him out because, when he gets going, he is certainly a fearsome striker of the ball.
Well, that was David talking about Tim David and the Goliath story. Of course, CSK seemed to have a very bad run last night. Of course, RCB posted toss a huge mammoth total of 250. Does this talk about the statement win confirming RCB as the undisputed title favourites, or is it just the Chinnaswamy pitch which is making their own bowling neutralize opponents' bowlings? What is your assessment of it? Is it the RCB or others are fading?
Purely RCB. It's purely RCB because, if you look at the initial period, the ball wasn't going through the boundary because of the thick outfield. It had rained a couple of hours back, and the way it wasn't reaching the boundary and was really, really difficult. So these guys, the batters, chose to go aerial with their shots and showed exactly how much power is needed to reach that kind of a total 250. So some way or the other, they've got the power, the wherewithal to dismiss any kind of attack. Of course, this is an inexperienced attack. Iran I told earlier how much they miss Jadeja, and of course he's been missed big time. But it's not just about Jadeja; it's about the overall lineup. What has been Chennai Super Kings USP in the past? It's been the experience. It's been the experience of the Matthew Haydens and the Imran Tahirs and the Shane Watsons, and you take all the big shots. Of course, Mahendra Singh Dhoni was the central figure of all the games. Ambati Raidu, Dwayne Bravo, Dwayne Smith, to take the name Faf, Duplessis. So all these big stalwarts were there. But now take the name of these youngsters. It's all young. It's a young lineup. They don't have experience. They lack of course, how much Mahendra Singh Dhoni is going to play, how much they are going to depend on him. Considering they have they do not have that huge experience in their lineup. You can't depend on a Shivam Dube who's just a few seasons old, and he can't lead that attack. Otherwise, he would have been given the captaincy. If you say Sanju Samson and Ruturaj Gaikwad, they are the best batters right now. In the team. Who can they open with? It's the better, but Sanju Samson has won you the World Cup. Ruturaj Gaikwad has been part of the team and is a T20 specialist, a classical batsman, I would say rather. But unfortunately, it's been they don't have the experience, which is one of the troublesome one of the reasons why they have been struggling back to back 3 games losses. It's something unusual coming from Chennai Super Kings, which has been dominant in IPL. And again, I would say it could be the transition phase. But are they ready? Do they have players? Do they have a future plan? Without Dhoni, they can go ahead.
Very quickly, David Brooks, he spoke about, Toss very eloquently spoke about the demise of CSK, but weren't they planning it? Because, the progression and the planning and the succession planning, isn't it the work in motion kind of a thing that you do it on the job and not wait for 2 seasons? Is it like the Manchester United of Sir Ferguson?
Well, he was a tough act to follow, wasn't he? And some of the names that Toss read out there, they're certainly difficult to fill some of those boots. They've had some of the best overseas players.
Correct.
They've chosen so wisely in their history. And you look at the current overseas, well, Jamie Overton is one of them. I know him well. And I think his limitations have been exposed. He'll give you handy runs down the order, but he's there for his bowling. And he's been expensive so far. Matt Henry is obviously a quality bowler.
Right.
Quality test match bowler. Can he be a little bit easy to hit in this form of the game? I'm looking for Matt Henry to answer his critics over the next period. But yeah, given some of the names there that have represented CSK, they haven't got anyone of that quality. And yeah, I can only just echo what my colleagues are saying. They're really missing, the experienced players there.
Well, absolutely. Erin, now we're moving on to a different game altogether on KKR. KKR on the brink, Kolkata Eden Gardens. are graced with 0 wins in the last 2 games. Is this the pressure of third straight loss playing on their mind, or already they want to break the jinx and Ajinkya Rahane's leadership has come under pressure? What is your thought into this? Aaron, if you can hear me.
Yes. So I believe that the KKR, I mean, including few big names like CSK, KKR, MI, they have struggled throughout the tournament at the initial phase of the tournament. So I believe that it's time even for KKR to rethink and rework on what went wrong in their strategies. So it's a very important game, today's game, because for the Punjab Kings, they are right on top. They have won the 2 games out of the 2, and among the top 4, they are in good form. And you take the batters of Punjab Kings, red hot form. The entire top order, they have really performed well. If you take a closer look at their batting lineup, it's a young side. It's outstanding to see that they have really come up in a big stage. So I believe even KKR, they have some very big names like Final and Ajinkya Rahane, the skipper. He might be feeling a little bit pressurized, carrying the title of the captainship and coming up as the opening batter. But you read out those names, starting from Cameron Green, the Rinku Singhs, they all are big batters, big names.
Absolutely.
So I believe it's not about the side, it's not about the members. It's just that they need to rework their strategies. Even the bowling, Sunil Narayan, Chakrabarti, these are big names in the cricketing world. So they have the side. It's just that they need to pull their socks up and make sure that they turn the tables in this game against the Punjab Kings, which is not going to be easy.
Well, let's talk about the revenge factor, and who better to tell about the revenge of Shreyas Iyer, Toss Rizvi. The man from Mumbai, the player from Mumbai, not long ago spoke to his coach, Praveen Amre, and he says Shreyas Iyer is a different form of his life and he goes into a different trance altogether whenever he takes on to the field. And this time he returns to Eden Gardens as the captain of an unbeaten Punjab Kings. Will he personally dismantle his former team's spin-heavy defence to stamp an early authority on this season? It's like becoming like the old English Premier League, where you go on to play your opponents, whether you celebrate after the win or not, or you destroy them. Is it turning out to be one of those Manchester Derby types, Toss Rizvi?
Yeah, again, Shreyas Iyer, somebody who's helped KKR win the title, their second title rather, I would say, after Gautam Gambhir. Obviously, Gambhir was the mentor in that game, in that particular season. Again, Shreyas Iyer getting
But just
back
correct
at
me if
KKR
I'm
is
wrong.
something
Just correct our viewers and just re-jog their memories. After winning the trophy, Gambhir did not pick him up for the World Cup. Wasn't that true? Toss
that
Rizvi.
is something, yeah. So luckily Gambhir isn't there, so the initial yeah. So the thing, he won't be really fired up. Of course, Gambhir isn't there, so there could have been an opportunity to take that revenge. But again, KKR, obviously memories will jog back to the how when he used to play for that purple jersey. But again, it's an interesting match, considering winning back-to-back games, coming from the being the runner-up in the last year. Shreyas Iyer would be very, very hungry once again. Yeah, it's an incomplete job for Punjab. He would be looking forward to win their first ever title, but then it's he takes one step at a time. He's got that attitude. He's kind of a cool guy, but as well as he's tough, knows how to take on the opponents. While KKR is struggling right now under Ajinkya Rahane's captaincy, unfortunately, they don't have a leader. I'm sorry, I have to say this, despite being a
Mumbaikar.
and a big Ajinkya Rahane fan. But yeah, this is something you can't be very, very conservative. You can't be low profile in that in a league which has some big high profile names, some big money out there on their team. So somewhere or the other, you have to be brave enough, take on the attack, and not have those conservative strike rates, or you have to take some kind of bold decision. It doesn't. KKR has a decent side, but somewhere or the other, they are missing Andre Russell, somebody who made a huge difference, with the ball, with the bat, of course, in a big way. That is one area they have been lacking, and of course, the second is the leadership. Ajinkya Rahane will have to take the charge, pick up his, the strike rate, yeah, he could be the best among the in the last T20 domestic tournament when it comes to his own team. But T20, the IPL is completely different. You have international players out there. You have different wickets, huge pressure. Fans are waiting for you, to cheer you or
Well,
maybe to demotivate you if you are in the opposite side. But for
absolutely.
Shreyas Iyer, he's got all the confidence in his armory. Of course, batting is his forte. He'll be looking to get back at his former team right now.
Absolutely. Getting back at the former team. Well, of course, you have some interesting names. Of course, you've got David Brooks, who is an Englishman, but he masquerades as the West Indian fan supporter and ambassador. Well, we've got Sunil Narayan. What do you think will be going for a spin-friendly wicket in Eden Gardens, and what do you think is the sharp decline of the West Indian player, especially Sunil Narayan, who's not getting enough deliveries to bat or deliveries to bowl? What do you think is going wrong with his name, fame and career right now, David Brooks?
Well, that's the question. Has he lost his mystery? Always been the mystery spinner. You never quite know what he's going to do with the ball. And he has been disappointing today. He doesn't play enough, to me, he doesn't play enough to other forms of cricket, to really judge where he is in terms of his game at the moment. The other one I would mention is Chakravarti, who's was quite easy to hit in the World Cup. And, did people start to pick him? And did he look a little bit, did the mystery go away from him too?
Right.
So I think both spinners are under pressure. But, Tos Rizvi there was talking about, the big money. And there's no one who's cost more than Cam Green as an overseas player. And, what has he done? Not just for KKR, but leading up to the tournament. He hasn't fired for Australia for a while. And sure, there's big pressure there because it's the middle order. And they don't seem to be capable of accelerating. And
David,
Cam
forgive me
Green has
for
got to come up to the
interrupting
table.
here. Is it the English fan taking a dig at the Aussie player, or is it a general critic?
Well, you could accuse me of that. I did pick on Cooper Connolly in a previous program, and he proved me completely wrong with an assured debut. I mean, batting at 3 for the Punjab Kings, and so I'm going to pay tribute to Connolly as one of the ones who's really doing one to watch in this tournament. But I think, look, it's not just an Anglo view that Cam Green has not performed for a while. He can't bowl at the moment, so it's all about his batting. And he's not delivering. And for the money that he cost, I could name several other players that I'd have bought instead of him.
Well, talking about Sunil Narayan, let's roll back the years. And it's an interesting anecdote that we've managed to get together. In 2012, Sunil Narayan once conceded 19 runs of a single legal delivery due to no balls and chaos. Is this the ultimate proof that KKR has historically, they've got the habit of self-destructing themselves under pressure? And this is not the Queen David Bowie song, Under Pressure, but again, Russell's demolition has also slowed down. David Brooks, what do you think of this team's composition, especially when the West Indian players seem to galore here?
Well, the middle order for me, the KKR middle order isn't firing, and I think that is key. Rahani's captaincy, as Toss was saying, is under pressure. Finn Allen, as an overseas player, he only comes good once, not once in a blue moon, but once every 5 or 6 innings. He's not a consistent performer. When he comes good, he's great. So I'm concerned about it, and the reliance on Narayan and Chakravarti, who are not in good form. Maybe people are feeling more confident playing them. The Zimbabwean Muzaramba, Blessing Muzaramba, inexperienced as well. So I don't like the composition of the team when you put it against, the other power pack lineups. It doesn't look at the overseas players that Punjab have got to call on: Janssen, Stoinis, as well as Cooper Connolly. Yeah.
Right. Let's roll back as we are looking at KKR, and let's look at the history. KKR experimented and they changed the course of history by promoting Narayan to open in 2017. And this was the stroke of genius, or was it a desperate move that has now become a predictable tactic that teams have finally figured out? David Brooks spoke about, has the mystery man lost his mojo? The answer could be yes or no. Let's hear what Toss has to say about that. Toss Rizvi.
No, definitely. He made a huge impact as Sunil Narine as an opener. Otherwise, where will you bat him? I mean, he's somebody who can at least use that power play. He can hit over the fielder's head. So that is where they can use him. Anyway, it wasn't an assured. It was a gamble, like which has been succeeded most of the time. It's not like that team has figured out. Of course, team would have figured out. And he's still he's still somebody who's not a proper batsman. He won't give you proper classical cover drive or straight drive that all people who love that kind of cricket will watch, sit, stand up and clap. It's like he can be used in power play perfectly, and it's not that even if he gets out early, doesn't matter. When he's coming down the order, if he clicks, you never know, he could help you get a fiery start. So I don't know what is Ajinkya Rahane doing. He can take that gamble once again.
You should know what he is doing. He's a Mumbaikar. He's a good friend of yours. You seem to have interviewed on several occasions. Is he under pressure? Toss, who's going to be your favorite team for today?
Of course, Shreyas is there, Ajinkya is there. Both Mumbaikars are leading side, but then you have to take a call. You have to take a bold call. So for me, it's obvious Punjab.
Punjab is the team that is doing good. Erin, since you're from Sri Lanka, you have no favourites to make. What is your judgment going to be? And then we move on to David Brooks for his final comment.
Well, on paper, looking at the names, you might feel that KKR has a strong side, but looking at the past form and the Punjab Kings, how they have performed during their past few games and how the team has stood up, I'm going Punjab.
Absolutely. Two points for Punjab. David Brooks, before we wrap up the show, who's your favourite for the day today?
Well, it's got one of my favourite bowlers, favourite Indian bowlers, Punjab, in Chahal. You've got, as I said, Jansen and Saunders, so I have to go with Punjab again. I think it's whenever the panel is unanimous on one team, you can be sure the other one's going to win and pull off a surprise, but I'm going to go Punjab.
For the first time, we've got unanimous calls. David, are you sure you're going to share the same news with Cuddy, your favourite friend, Courtney Walsh, that you're not supporting West Indian team KKR?
Well, Courtney's obviously part of the setup, but I don't see them as a West Indian team. Not with Narine, who hasn't represented West Indies in many, many years. He's made clear where his loyalties lie. And the fact that he doesn't play any other cricket outside the franchise circuit does concern me. I believe the players that perform the best in this tournament are ones that are succeeding in all formats and playing cricket all the year round.
Well, absolutely. For the first time, we've got 3-0. Again, sad days for KKR, which once ruled. And this is all we had time for today's show. This is the show called Cricketer, and I thank all my three guests who joined from all those three countries. I thank you all, and we'll be back after a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere else.